Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Witching Hour. Today I'll be doing a review and recap of the second episode of the Witcher series on Netflix. There will be spoilers, so you may want to watch the episode before you watch this video. After watching this episode, the timelines are finally making sense to me. It's multiple timelines taking place at the same time, and it makes more sense the more episodes you watch. I had a hard time with this episode. To be honest, it's my least favorite of all the episodes. I would give it a rating of a 6 out of 10. That being said, I'm glad that I continued to the rest of the series because it's badass. There are two huge drawbacks to this episode in my opinion. The first is the Sylvan. It looks like shit. I mean, look at it. Total and complete shit. I swear someone could paper mache a better looking creature. The other negative is the short story, The Edge of the World. It feels like this short story is a total afterthought. It's like they put it as a blip in the show to appease the book readers. There's so much to the story that would have played beautifully into the show. They just gave us a half-assed version of what The Edge of the World is all about. We barely met the Sylvan, Torque, or the elves, Torjeville and Filavandrel. They didn't even mention Lil, also known as the Queen of Fields. They also didn't do a good enough job emphasizing the concept of how horrible the humans were to the elves. The humans displaced them, taking everything they've ever known, and massacred many elves along the way. If you haven't read the books, please do so. You won't be sorry. During this episode, we are introduced to Jaskier. I'll be honest, I did not like this character in this particular story, but in further episodes, his character feels more true to the womanizing man of the books. In this part of the episode, Geralt is paid by the villagers to kill what they call a devil that is stealing their crops from them. He is a major pain in the ass in the book. Geralt and Jaskier both go to find this devil, but instead they find the Sylvan. They are quickly taken hostage by the elves, who plan on killing them both. They need them dead because they don't want the truth to get out. That the Sylvan is actually stealing all this stuff to help the elves out and keep them from starving to death in the mountains after they were chased off their own lands by the humans. A female elf by the name of Torjeville takes pleasure in beating the shit out of Geralt until he one-ups her. It's at this time that their king, Filavandrel, enters. He goes back and forth with Geralt for a short time and then decides to release them. One of my favorite parts of this episode is our introduction to Yennefer and her origin story. The show opens to a scene where she ends up getting assaulted by two local shitheads, and she portals herself somewhere else, where she meets Istrid. He warns her that now that her powers have come about, there will be a woman that comes for her. And sure enough, a short time later, she is bought and paid for by Tissaia, who mentors girls with newly found magical powers to turn them into mages that are distributed to the leaders of various kingdoms. Yennefer is a hunchback with a screwed-up jaw, and she hates herself. The same night that she is brought to Aretuza, she tries to kill herself, but she doesn't succeed. Yennefer and the other girls are put through various trials they must complete in order to ascend and be made into the image of their choosing, because most of these girls that have these magical powers either have physical abnormalities or they're just plain ugly. But Yennefer seems to fail at all the trials. She eventually lets her emotions take control and she nearly kills one of the other girls just because the other girl's excelling. Yennefer in the meantime is developing a love affair with Istrid, but he betrays her by telling Stregobor that she is quarter elf. Not a lot happens with Ciri this episode. She wanders through the woods looking for Geralt and avoiding the Nilfgaard. She eventually meets an elf named Dara. He tries to keep her safe and saves her life twice during this episode. They are at one point separated and she is taken in by a Cintran family, but it's short-lived because the Nilfgaardian soldiers attack and she narrowly escapes with the help of Dara. Ciri does come to the realization that her grandmother, Queen Calanthe, is not the loved leader that she thought she was. I'm glad I watched this episode, even though it was far from my favorite, and I'm really glad that I stuck it out and watched the rest of the season. Let me know what you think about this episode in the comments down below. If you like this video, please subscribe down below and give me a like and a share. Bye guys.